unicorns, and welcome back to another video. Just in case you are new, my name is Nathalie and this is my Cafecito y Pan Dulce YouTube channel where we have coffee talks about anything and everything. In honor of Earth Day being today, April 22, 2018, we're going to be talking about the earth today and ways that we can be more respectful, friendly, and loving towards the earth. As a Christian, I think that we are sent to be loving and respectful of earth and take care of God's creation. And as a biologist, or an almost biology BA student, Bachelor of Arts, I am a strong advocate for taking care of life and taking care of creation, taking care of earth, you know? We're only given we're only given one earth, one time that we know of, so I think it should be a goal of all of ours to try to take care of the earth that we're living on now. And you know, like, I just love earth, love nature, love everything about nature, so yeah. I am a strong advocate for taking care of earth and being responsible and respectful and loving of earth too. So for today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a few tips of how we can take care of the earth. These are tips that are very easy to implement. They don't cost you anything. They're just little tips that you can start doing in your everyday life, and you can just implement them then and just be naturally more respectful of earth and more caring of it. I'm wearing my wig because I didn't feel like doing my hair. Just wanted to throw that out there. So let's just go ahead, grab our coffees, and go ahead and get right into it. So my first tip is to use less plastic, and this is something that is so easy to implement in our everyday lives. Just use less plastic. That means using less sandwich bags and more reusable little baggies that you can take for your lunch. It could also mean, when they ask you at the store, paper or plastic, to choose paper and not plastic. It can mean that when you go to Starbucks, or when you go like at your job or at school and you're trying to buy a coffee, ask them if you can use your own travel mug instead of using a plastic or even the paper cup that they have there. And it also means just using less plastic straws and maybe trying to go more for metal straws that you can use or carry with you, or even paper straws that they have too. And the reason why we, by the way, just in case you don't know, why we prefer paper over plastic is because, hypothetically, paper is a renewable source. Like, we can plant more trees, but we can't reverse the effects that plastic has on our environment. We can use paper and compost it, whereas we can't compost plastic. Paper is just easier to deal with or to manage. It's easier for us to manage it so that its afterlife doesn't have negative effects on the environment. So that's why we prefer paper over plastic. Also, make sure that you're reusing your plastic bags, or you're taking your own bags to the grocery store. Just easy things like that. Just reducing our overall consumption of plastic. And the second tip I have is to consume less. Now, this is one that is very broad, but let me just give you a few little reasons why I'm suggesting this one and reasons why I think it's beneficial. So, our consuming so much clothes, so much food, so much unnecessary things is increasing the amount of things that we're throwing into our landfills. It's increasing the amount of carbon dioxide and fossil fuels that are being released because of what it takes to make the products that we're using. It's also taking away resources that we have, natural resources and other resources too, like trees and resources that are required to make plastic and things like that. So if we consume less, less will go into our landfills, especially if we consume less food, then we'll see less methane released from our landfills, which is a big plus. And then we'll also have less plastic in the environment, which is a huge plus because we don't really know what plastic does in its afterlife when it's decomposing or after we've used it. We're not 100% sure because it hasn't been around for so long. So if we consume less, the process that it takes to make those things we're consuming, like the food that we're consuming and the wardrobe that we're buying and the clothes that we're buying, is polluting a lot of water and polluting our air too. So it'll decrease the pollution to our air and the pollution to our water. That's what I meant to say. Decrease the pollution to our air and decrease the pollution to our water. He's growling at himself in the mirror. My third little tip is to walk and bike more places, and this is one that is very obvious and probably one of the first ones that people give us as a tip, is just to try to walk and bike to local places around you if you can. I live in the middle of the country, so I totally understand if you can't do that. So yeah. Oh, Sparky! I totally understand if you can't do that, but if you can, if you live in the city and if you live somewhere where you want to go to, if you want to go to dinner, you know, and it's nice outside, then you can bike there if it's a mile away. So that would, of course, just decrease, that's the word I was looking for, decrease the amount of fossil fuels that we're emitting into the air. My fourth little tip is to plant more trees and plant more plants in general. If we plant more plants, if we are planting more trees, they're able to absorb the carbon dioxide that we're emitting into the air at such a high rate. So the biggest problem with global warming is just that we're emitting the carbon dioxide into the air so much faster than the plants can absorb. So the carbon dioxide is just accumulating there and it's creating like holes in our ozone layer and all of that. But one of the easiest ways that we can help improve that is by planting more trees, planting more flowers, planting more, you know, greenery that will help absorb the carbon dioxide that we're emitting so quickly. Plus, they're beautiful, you know? Having a tree and then like 20 years from now being like, see that tree? I planted that tree. And it's huge now, but it was a baby before. My fifth little tip would be to upcycle and reuse things. So this could be old t-shirts. When you have old t-shirts, you can turn them into rags and use them to clean your bathroom, your kitchen counter, and things like that. That would be amazing because then you're throwing less things into the landfills. You can also reuse like your paper bags that they give you at like Panera or Paxa. You can reuse them even for like to give gifts and explain to people, you know, like you could explain to them, hey, I'm just trying to be more environmentally friendly, which is why I'm giving you this bag and not like an actual gift bag. You can even like use newspaper and things like that to wrap your presents in. You can upcycle different clothes that you want to throw out, like you can turn them into a cute dress or things like that. There are a lot of YouTube channels out there too that show you how to upcycle and reuse your things. Like you could use even plastic soda bottles, like you could use those to plant more plants and that would be amazing. Like the possibilities are endless, people. Alright, and then my sixth and last little tip is to buy more organic. And that means more organic cotton clothes, and it also means more organically grown food. The reason for this is that a big part of farming is using pesticides and using a lot of chemicals to help prolong the shelf life of our food, to help keep the bugs away and things like that, which is totally like understandable, but all those pesticides tend to run off into rivers that go into our lakes and into our ocean, and it's just not good for the water, and sometimes it can even like sneak into the water that we're drinking. So it's very important to try to support the farmers that are growing organically. It's not something that's very popular and it's not something that's very economically feasible, or at least not compared to regular farming. So organic farming is something that is very good for your own health and also something that's very good for the environment, and I just think that it's something that we should support. And organic cotton, like if you look when you're buying cotton shirts, try to buy organically grown cotton shirts because they're also grown without the pesticides and harvested without all those harsh chemicals being thrown into it. So yeah, these are just a few little ways that you, like little things you can implement into your everyday life. You don't have to do them all at once at all. You can implement these like one a day or just one a month. It doesn't have to be right away. You can even just take what I've said and just kind of like soak it all in and maybe do a little more research on it, watch people that have a little more information on it, or maybe take a local college class and learn a little bit more about it. It's one of the things that I'm passionate about, and I just wanted to share with you guys a few tips on how you could help the environment and be more respectful of it. So that concludes the video. Have a wonderful rest of your Earth Day and your rest of your week whenever you're watching this. Have a wonderful rest of whatever you're doing. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you love the Earth and you want to help support it, and share with your friends too. Maybe they want a few tips on how to help the Earth, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!